After weeks of fear, confusion, and unanswered questions, investigators in the Idaho student murders case finally made a breakthrough. But the question remained: how did police identify and track the man they believed was responsible for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students? The answer came through surveillance footage, digital evidence, and DNA. In the early days of the investigation, authorities began reviewing security camera footage from around the neighborhood near the victim's home in Moscow, Idaho. As investigators searched through hours of recordings, one detail began standing out. A white Hyundai Elantra had been seen driving near the house around the time of the murders. The vehicle appeared multiple times in the area during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022. Police believed the car could be connected to the case. Soon, investigators released information to the public asking for help identifying the vehicle. The search for the white Hyundai Elantra quickly became one of the biggest focuses of the investigation. As tips poured in, investigators continued analyzing surveillance footage and tracing possible vehicle registrations. Eventually, authorities connected the vehicle to a man named Bryan Kohberger. Kohberger was a criminology PhD student studying at Washington State University, located only a short distance from Moscow, Idaho. The discovery shocked many people following the case. Investigators then began examining Kohberger's movements more closely. According to authorities, cell phone data allegedly showed his phone traveling near the victim's residence multiple times before the night of the murders. Police also believed his phone stopped reporting data during the estimated time of the killings before reconnecting afterward. But investigators still needed stronger physical evidence. Then came one of the most important breakthroughs in the case. Authorities recovered DNA evidence from a knife sheath discovered near one of the victims at the crime scene. Investigators later compared the DNA evidence to samples connected to Kohberger. According to authorities, the results linked him to the evidence found inside the house. As investigators continued building their case, surveillance teams tracked Kohberger across the country. In December 2022, authorities followed him to Pennsylvania, where he had traveled with his father during the holiday season. Then, in the early morning hours of December 30, 2022, law enforcement officers arrested Bryan Kohberger at his family home. The arrest immediately became national news. After weeks of uncertainty, investigators believed they had finally identified the suspect connected to one of the most shocking crimes in recent years. However, the case was far from over. Bryan Kohberger has denied the allegations against him and pleaded not guilty. The legal process continues as prosecutors and defense attorneys prepare for trial. Even today, many questions remain unanswered. What was the motive? Were the victims specifically targeted? And what exactly happened inside the house that night? For the families of the victims, the pain and grief continue. But many hope the legal process will eventually provide answers and justice. The Idaho student murders remain one of the most widely discussed true crime cases in America. A case built through surveillance footage, digital tracking, and DNA evidence that ultimately led investigators to a suspect hundreds of miles away. If you want to hear more real true crime stories and investigations, subscribe to True Crime Chronicles for more documentaries like this.